Blue White Red Delver deck, and he's got like a trophy and $10,000, so check him out.
Hello and welcome to the sideboard here at the Star City Games Invitational in New Jersey. And our Invitational champion is New Jersey native, Erik Smith. Erik, congratulations.
Thank you.
We have some of the spoils of your victory here. We've got, let me get that back on here for you. We got some of the spoils here for you. We got your trophy. We got your big giant check with your name on it. The slightly smaller check that you can cash will be coming later, of course. And you're the winner. How awesome is that?
It's unreal. It's hard to believe even though I'm sitting here. It's like,
absolutely.
Wasn't expecting it.
So you finished the standard portion 5-3 with Jund.
Yeah.
Got to the top 8 and went through the top 8. You only had 10 game wins in the Swiss with Jund. You had 9 game wins with the Swiss in the top 8. Do you think that it's because of the 5-game format of the top 8, or because of how you were the only Jund deck in the top 8? Was that play a part also?
That definitely played a part. My losses in the standard portion were to Matt Costa in the first round playing Blue White Red. He's just obviously a very good player, and that's the deck he knows almost better than anyone. And I also lost to a White Black Red Humans deck, and I just had like some poor draws while he had very good draws. And then I lost to the mirror match, which is always just a coin flip. It's whoever hits the bigger things faster. So I think I was well set up heading into the top 8, even though I didn't do as great in standard during the Swiss.
Sure.
And the sideboarding, four post sideboard games definitely helped. Each of my matches went to 5 games, so yeah.
Yeah, and you were on the draw for your quarterfinals and your semifinals. Until the finals, when you finally played the 8 seed Andrew Tenjum. Tell me a little bit about the Naya matchup. Did you practice it at all? Were you expecting it?
I've played it before. It's difficult because Domri Rage is just very, very strong. It gives them a card advantage engine that usually aggro decks don't have. And he obviously also goes very big in the terms of the aggro spectrum as he goes over the top with Hellkites and such. I think I'm set up pretty well. Domri and Boris Reckoner are probably like the hardest cards to deal with, just because most of my removal is damage based, and like Bonfire and Mizzy Mortars, which are both very good in the matchup, are very weak against a Reckoner. But overall, I think it's pretty good. It definitely got worse since I cut Abrupt Decay.
Sure.
But I think I wanted the second Mortars because I was expecting a lot of Jund, and Mortars is obviously very good in
Absolutely,
the mirror
there
match.
was a lot of Jund in the Swiss. In the semis, speaking of Blue White Red, and speaking of Matt Costa, you played against a member of his testing team, basically Dave Shields, playing a very similar deck. Another very accomplished pilot with Blue White Red. You were able to pull out the victory in that one as well.
Yeah, it was close, but I got there.
Yeah, and you were on the positive end of some mulligans on that one as well.
Rolled the 4 in game 4, and that obviously puts me very far ahead.
So Blue White Red, not your favorite matchup, but you were able to pull that one out also.
I wasn't very confident in the Blue White Red matchup. They have just so many counterspells, especially Dave Shields' list had 3 negates post board, whereas I think Costa usually plays 3 dispels, which are dead against me. So having something like 9 or 8 post board counterspells is very difficult for Jund to deal with.
Sure, he can play sort of like a tempo game against you.
Yeah.
As we saw in one of the games where he just had an Augur and a Restoration Angel, and then all of his counterspells were just time walks for like 4 turns or something like that. In the quarterfinals, you played against Bant Hexproof.
Right.
The other enemy of the format. But you were more confident in your Bant Hexproof matchup, mostly because of Bonfire and Mizzy Mortars. Also, you had Liliana.
Yeah, heading in, I practiced the matchup a lot last night, and I was crushing it. I was like, played like 15 post sideboard games, and some like 12-3, 13-2. So I was very confident going in, but the matches ended up being very close and played out a lot differently than the testing did.
Sure. And you finished standard at 5-3, but Legacy, you were the only 7-0-1 competitor. All the rest of the 7-win players had 1 loss at least. You were the only one to be able to finish 7-0-1, and you were playing sort of a different looking Blue-White Delver deck. It had Delver as well as the Stoneforge Mystic package, as well as Geist of St. Traft. A lot of different ways to hit the metagame.
Yep.
The mana base and the mana denial plan was much more of a Delver deck, but you also had the Stoneforge Mystic package.
Yep.
It's a deck that we haven't seen a lot of on the Open Series. Why did you decide to go with that one?
All right, well, I always love playing the tempo style decks that Delver lends itself to. I played Delver when it was in Standard. And when I started playing Legacy, which was only a few months ago, I picked up Blue Red Delver because it was basically like the cheapest deck I can put together. And I did pretty well with that through two open series. And then for the third one, I switched to Blue White Red Delver, which a few of my friends had successfully piloted. And I ended up finishing in the top 4 in Worcester with that list.
And that's how you qualified for this invitation.
Yeah. And I just really liked the power that Geist of St. Traft gave, that let you close out games really quickly. And then over the weeks since then, a couple of my friends have been talking about the list, and one of them suggested adding Stoneforge. We always felt like the deck was threat light. Really the only significant threats were Delver and Geist, and if they were able to deal with those, you don't have any other ways to close out the game. And so he suggested adding a Stoneforge Mystic package, and I saw that a list had top 8'd, I forget which open series, but one of them in the last few months that was similar to the one I played today. And I figured I'd try it out, and I cut a land, cut a Geist, cut the Snapcasters, which were basically the worst card in the deck.
Sure.
And it worked out very well. The deck was very, very well set up against combo, especially post board. It's basically just threats, counter magic, and dig spells.
Sure.
So I felt like cutting the Snapcasters didn't really weaken the combo matchup, while adding the Mystic package greatly shored up the matchup against fair decks, because Batterskull is just a house. It's really hard to deal with.
Absolutely,
and,
yeah. Especially decks like Shardless Bug that are better set up against Geist of St. Traft.
Correct. Yeah.
Bringing in Batterskull helps against those decks.
Yep. I ended up facing, of the 7 matches I played, basically 5 very fair decks, and then I also played against 2 Cloud Post decks, and Mystic was just great in all of them. It closed out games against Jund, Batterskull, plus sort of Feast and Famine post board.
Absolutely.
And then Umezawa's Jite is just, the new Legend rule makes it one of the strongest cards because there's no way to deal with it besides removal. You can't just play your own, and
Sure.
Getting the first one out is just huge.
So let's talk about the new Legend rule and the new Planeswalker rule, because it must have popped up many times throughout your rounds. Olivia Volderon, Liliana of the Veil, Garruk Primal Hunter, not to mention Legacy, where you have Jace the Mind Sculptor, sometimes Vendilion Click in other matchups. I don't know if you had Vendilion Click in
I
your
have
sideboard.
one up in my board.
So did the new Legend rule, new Planeswalker Uniqueness rule come into play at all during your tournament?
It actually did not for me. There was no matchup where either I could play 2 of the same creature or Planeswalker in the same turn, or
they had
or
like
they
had a GTA
we never
and
had
you
the
had a
same.
GTA?
Yeah, we never had the same cards on board.
Yeah, we saw it pop up a couple times on
Yeah.
camera, but not too surprising that it wouldn't pop up for you. So, previous to this, your qualification was through consistent play and a top 4 in Worcester.
Correct.
But now, you're an invitational champion. That means that the target's going to be on your back now. People are going to be gunning for you. You're going to get everybody's best. Is that really sunk in yet that you've won this invitational?
I don't think so. I don't know if it will, but
well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And have you decided finally what your token's going to be?
yeah, I'm gonna make a 1/1 Goblin token.
Ooh.
My
Cedric
best,
has
yeah.
some competition.
My best friend Vinny, he's actually on my shirt right now. He introduced me to Magic 13 years ago or something. He passed away last year, and ever since then, that really like spurred me to try to make something of playing Magic.
Absolutely. And so goblins were a big part of
yeah,
your early development?
Yeah. Well, actually, Goblin was his nickname that he got
sure.
from another group of friends. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great story. And so be on the lookout for the Goblin token coming out soon. Erik Smith, New Jersey native, New Jersey Invitational champion. And congratulations once again.
Thanks a lot.
It's a great story. I think we're just going to toss it right back to the booth here at the Star City Games Invitational. For Erik Smith, I'm Ruben Bressler. See you later.